Welcome everyone to the back of my van to do a little stove review. What I've got here is a selection of stoves that I've got, all of which have seen plenty of use, most of which are in the van with me, one or other, or some of them at any one time, so that I can make a brew anywhere I fancy. Typically it comes down to a cup of tea, a packet of noodles, or some other sort of freeze-dried meal, and that's primarily what I use them for. But obviously they come on camping trips with me, etc., etc. So I just wanted to run through different pros and cons of all of them, really. We've got. I'll start off with the one that I've had the longest, which is the Trangia. Great little stove this. This is the smaller of the Trangias. There's the burner, sits in there, kettle. The nice thing about this is, well, there's lots of nice things about this. That has no moving parts. There's nothing to go wrong, and it doesn't break. I've had this stove for 13 years now. It was a wedding present from my parents. My parents are very practical people, which is good. The little kettle is ideal, and this bit acts as a great windshield, so that really helps to contain the heat and heats things up a lot quicker. The holes around the bottom help to draw air in, and as you can see around there's holes around there, so you get a good airflow, you get a good burn. You get the kettle, two pots which both sit in there. Okay, around. This is a really nice thing. Burner fits in there. Obviously, as your lid, the simmer ring, which just controls the burn. In practice, I don't tend to use that very much, but it's there. And where are we? There. The lid of this obviously acts as a frying pan, and you get the handle, and it's all self-contained. So if I just pack that up, I typically drop a lighter in the kettle as well. Strap round, with the exclusion of the fuel. It's a completely self-contained cooking system. It's not the lightest, but when you factor in this one, or indeed this one, they all require you to carry that anyway, or something very similar to it. You need a cooking pot, or a set of cooking pots. So that's a set of 3 cooking pots. So I've got to carry that with either of these, or with this I've got to carry that, same size. Okay, with that one I do have to carry meths as well, but other than that fuel bottle, this is one I tend to have in the van, and if I was going away for a weekend I'd use this. But if it's just like a little walk, a day walk or something, but I feel like I want meths because maybe it's a bit wet, a bit drippy, I don't want to be struggling to light a fire, I've got a little tiny cig bottle. It's probably about that tall, and I'd take that, just for a day walk where I want, make a meal and a couple of cups of tea. But if I was away for a weekend, I'd take that. The next one I bought, was this Kelly kettle. That I use purely as a wood burner. Wood burner in there, just a little fire box, the hole for the air. This just heats water. You can buy an additional support for the top of this, which then you could rest a pot on, so the heat escaping out of the chimney could be used to cook up food. So that's quite good. I haven't got one of those, I didn't go down that road. But that gets used slightly less now. But that will heat an old 1 litre of water. As you can see, there's a hole all up centre, which is a chimney, and it's a sort of a conical shape inside. So you pour your water in the outside, and it acts like a hot water jacket really, around the chimney. It is a good way of heating a lot of water quickly. So if you're on a static camp, and you had a good number of people who all wanted a cup of tea, that's a great way to get a cup of tea for people nice and quickly. The next one I bought was this honey stove. This is an older model. Now they come with a grill on top and you get expansion packs and all sorts of things, but this is good in that it packs completely flat into that bag. Made in Britain as well, out of stainless steel, so it's nice to support UK industry. Of course it packs lovely and flat, but you still need to carry cooking pots, so there's a bit of a trade-off there. Generally speaking, I still take the Trangia everywhere, but you know, I might only take one little cooking pot, you know, in which case I wouldn't need the Trangia, or even I might just take that, and I could just sit that straight over the top, as long as I'm careful that the handles don't get too hot. We're okay. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to take all of it, so you can break it down. Excuse me. I'll just deal with this, otherwise it will beep. For eternity, it's O2 sending me a message. That's nice of them. I would say happy Christmas, spend some more money. You can break this down, and I've done this before on camping trips, and you can use your Trangia burner. Honey stove's a bit fiddly to get together. So you wouldn't want to be fiddling with it in cold weather with cold hands. But yeah. Now I don't need those bits. I've still got a decent water heater. So you can use that. But obviously then you need to carry that as well. So no system is perfect. Nice thing about the honey stove, yeah, you can just get wood and that's your cooking medium, so you lose that. But you've lost that, but you still need to carry these. So here we go. Now the honey stove is good, multifunctional, simple, again no moving parts. I mean obviously you have to be able to slot it together, but you can make a nice easy stove out of that. It all sits in there, so that's good. This here is a slightly more efficient wood burner. Bear with as I tidy up. Right. And this got the air holes in the bottom again. The air holes through here, slots on there, and then there's a bit of a gap to the floor so you get the air coming through. This is another wood burner. Again, you can see it's had some use. Took this on a canoe camping trip recently in the summer. That was good. Wood burner in there, so on the top. It's nice and neat, it's very light. The good thing about this, and the improvement over this one, is that it burns the wood hotter. Because what it does, it creates a double burn. I don't know if you can see the ring of holes around there. And what this does is it gasifies the wood. Some days better than others, some wood's better than others, but it gasifies the wood. And what you get, as well as having the flames in there, the air gets drawn around, and as the wood gas escapes, it gets heated up, and it actually burns out of these holes here. So you'll see flames coming out of those holes, and that's the wood gas being burned. So it's burning more efficiently, it's a cleaner burn. None of them are super clean. The Trangia, although it's spirit based, alcohol based, I would actually burn that in the back of the van, and I have done in the past. On a wet day, I've lit that near the doors of the van. It doesn't smell great, but if you've got a good airflow and you're not too close to it, you're okay. These ones, any of the wood stoves, I wouldn't burn anywhere near the van. They're purely out and about because you get a lot of tar, a lot of soot and tar comes out of the wood. This one is slightly cleaner, as you can see from the inside of that. It's cleaner than this one. The annoying thing about this though is if I just pop that on, say I'm using a frying pan, to get the wood in, you've got to poke through that gap there, which isn't easy. And it does take a lot of fueling. The honey stove, although it burns less efficiently, so therefore it sort of burns more like a hobo stove, that's got a great big door on it, so it's easier to load the fire with the honey stove. But if you're just using a small pot like that, as I typically do, it's quite easy to get bits in there. So I've got my finger in there, it's quite easy. So nothing's perfect. Everything is a compromise. But out of these, do I have a favourite? I think the answer to that is no. I don't have a favourite. But for lightweight packability camping, if I was camping with a tent and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to have a fire or not, it's a fantastic system. The Trangia system is fantastic. The meths is pretty easy to come by. Although you could use surgical spirit, you could use any sort of alcohol, any denatured alcohol. Out of these, probably the honey stove, because it gives me more options. Also, this does have moving parts on it, which could be susceptible to breakage. If you were to break one of those off, it's fairly limited what you can do with it. It will certainly make life a lot harder. So there's that. But quick and easy to pack. Comes in a bag, which slightly annoyingly is made out of nylon, so you can't pack the thing away if it's warm. It'd melt your back. But yeah, there's plenty of options there. Hopefully one of those will have tickled your fancy. But then if you've got a big number of people to cook for and you're not going anywhere and you want something that's going to keep you warm, you need one of these. This is a Frontier stove. Very obviously not a lightweight option. Now, I've got this in use in one of my other videos, but obviously all your stovepipes store inside it. This is the first pipe. It's got a little flue damper on there, and then the rest of them are your chimney pipes. Burn fire in there. You've got a couple of door lever controls. That leaves just a little gap there. Now, it's just occurred to me that you might not be able to see this. Let's just move that up a little bit. There we go. So, fire inside there. It does have a little ash pan. With clips on the front there. Obviously, your chimney sections go up there. Now that will burn very nicely and very efficiently. You've got a rail here you can hang a towel on. Dry a towel off. You can open this top piece, and I thought to myself, why would you want to open that? But the other day I discovered that chimney with a water heater fits perfectly on there, and you've still got space behind for sort of a small frying pan or something. So that's a bit of a bonus. Although Frontier now supply a water jacket which fits around the chimney, and it will sit on this piece here and it will swing out of the way. So it's apparently it is a 3 litre capacity and will boil 3 litres of water in about half an hour. Which, when you're thinking of large volumes of people, if you're in a static camp, that's a really good amount of water. 3 litres of water is a very useful amount of boiling water, and when it gets boiling, the great thing is you can just swing it out of the way of the stove. The residual heat, the heat coming out of the chimney, will just keep it warm. So you're always going to have an availability, as long as the fire's going, you're going to have availability of hot water, which is fantastic if you're going to be staying somewhere for a long time. So there's a few camping options. The 3 of them that have homemade fire, as it were, with the wood, probably my best bets. But for general day to day, if I'm going to get stuck somewhere in the van overnight, have the Trangia in the van all the time, have that and some alcohol, and I'm sorted. But the wood ones are a lot more fun. So there you go, you pay your money, you take your chance. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide which ones you want. Thanks for watching.